Committed to bringing you up-to-the-minute news on local and international maritime trade, this is Nimasa This Week. Hello and welcome. My name is Iresiola Adol. Now, one of the major concerns of the current administration of Nimasa is the eradication of piracy and sea robberies on our waterways. And to this end, they have expended a lot of money, time, and human resources. And we are proud to say that to a very large extent, our waterways are much, much safer than they used to be. Our first report on the show this week is on the large strides that Nimasa has made in this regard.
The Gulf of Guinea is perhaps the most strategic body of water on the West African coast. Indeed, it forms the southern limits of Nigeria's territorial waters. It also adjoins the coast of Lagos all the way through to the coastal areas of the Niger Delta, extending as far as the Bakassi Peninsula. Practically, all offshore oil and gas activities in Nigeria take place in the Gulf of Guinea, hence its economic significance. The fact that the Gulf of Guinea hosts the Apapa, Tinkan Island, and One ports, as well as major oil terminals, all contribute to making the Gulf of Guinea the most strategically important body of water in Africa. The strategic importance of this marine area is underscored by the visit of foreign naval vessels from Europe. However, in recent years, the activities of pirates and sea robbers in the Gulf of Guinea have also made it one of the most dangerous bodies of waters, secondly only to the coast of Somalia. Before now, various stakeholders have had cause to complain about the activities of pirates and sea robbers to the management of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The Director General of Nimasa, Ziakide Patrick Akpobolekemi, has however assured all stakeholders of the agency's determination to stamp out the incidences of piracy and sea robberies within Nigerian territorial waters. At a point, the Lagos anchorage was so dreaded that it attracted special insurance cover for vessels and cargo passing through it. The Nigerian Maritime Safety Agency rose to the security challenge by establishing the Maritime Guard Command in collaboration with the Nigerian Armed Forces. The Regional Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, accredited by the International Maritime Organization (IMO), based at Kirikiri in Lagos, ensures prompt response to distress signals from vessels under attack. The control room at the coordination center is equipped to track the position of all vessels within Nigeria's territorial waters. The Maritime Guard Command also patrols the waters around the Lagos anchorage regularly and has thwarted attacks on vessels within the area. Incidences of piracy were practically wiped out within the Lagos anchorage, making the criminals to move their activities to the adjoining waters of Republic of Benin. The activities in Beninois territorial waters constituted such a nuisance as it did not change the perception that the Gulf of Guinea was indeed dangerous for seafarers. This prompted the government of Nigeria and Republic of Benin to forge an alliance to check the menace of the sea criminals within Beninois territorial waters. After a series of high-level talks and consultations, a joint action plan was arrived at. The joint action championed by Nigeria has successfully put a check on the excesses of pirates and sea robbers. Part of Nimasa's efforts at curbing sea piracy and robbery was the seizing of vessels suspected to be used by pirates for criminal activities. Nimasa and the Joint Task Force, which include members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, are hereby poised to replicate the successes they have recorded on Beninois territorial waters and the Lagos anchorage and other anchorage areas within the Gulf of Guinea. To all ship owners, shipping agents and mariners, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency has observed a new trend in the clandestine operations of ship hijackers and sea-based robbers syndicate operating in the West African coast. Members of the Vessels Hijack Syndicate pose as ship charterers seeking to hire vessels for petroleum liquid ship-to-ship operations. Unsuspecting ship owners and agents are by this notice informed that such charterers deploy the vessels for forceful and criminal transfer of stolen petroleum products from hijacked tanker vessels. Ship operators are advised to request valid documentations and clearance issued by relevant regulatory authorities from prospective charterers or their agents. Such documentations may be authenticated at the agency prior to release of tanker ships or barges to supposed charterers. Ship owners or agents shall be liable for illicit activities of the syndicate who abandon such chartered vessels at sea to evade arrest. For further information, contact the Acting Director, Shipping Development, 6th floor, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, 4 Burma Road, Apapa, Lagos, or email publicrelations@nimasa.gov.ng.
The vision of the current leadership of Nimasa is to boost our local maritime trade to world-class standards. And to achieve this, they have used or devised a two-pronged approach. One, ensuring that our waterways are secure, and two, building human capacity. And to this end, they have expended a lot of time and money to training and retraining the much-needed hands to boost our local industry. To this end, a new set of cadets have been sent to far-flung places all across the globe to acquire the skills that we need to boost our local maritime trade. That's our next report.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, organized a send-forth ceremony for 655 trainee cadets under the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program (NSDP) on Monday, 7th of October 2013 at the Nigerian Maritime Research and Development Center, Kirikiri, Lagos. The send-forth kicked off under the watchful eyes of the Director General Nimasa, Ziakebe Patrick Akpobulakaimi. The pedigree of guests present was distinguished as ever as the Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umaru, stood in for the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Other dignitaries present included the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Maritime Affairs, Dr. Leke Oyewole, Permanent Secretary to the Minister of Transport, Nebolisa Emodi, Chairman Board of Directors, Nimasa, Lieutenant Colonel Agu Kefas, retired, honorable members of the House of Representatives, representatives of air and naval staff, members of the diplomatic corps, and stakeholders in the maritime industry. The Executive Director, Maritime Safety and Shipping Development, Captain Ezekiel Balagaba, and Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, Barrister Nwabweze Kalisto Zubi, as well as top management staff of the agency, went ground to support the DG in hosting the event. The Minister of Transport in Nigeria, Senator Idris Umar, who also represented the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, started his speech by congratulating Nimasa's success in running the NSDP program responsible for training all categories of seafarers. Senator Umaru then added that the federal government has provided infrastructural and technical capacity to the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, in order to enhance capacity building. In addition, the Honorable Minister disclosed the federal government's efforts in closing the yawning gaps for the much-needed seafarers and marine professionals through the establishment of a maritime university and 4 institutes of maritime studies, which are expected to contribute to the development of the Nigerian economy.
The objective of this institute is to contribute to the production of high-quality future global maritime leaders and professionals through quality maritime education, training, and research. Also, the Institute will create opportunities for mutual exchange of knowledge and best practices in the maritime industry.
In the DG's welcome address, he thanked President Goodluck Jonathan, the Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umaru, and the distinguished honorable members of the Senate and House of Representatives Committee on Marine Transport for their immense support towards the attainment of the goals of the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program, NSDP.
I did say also on behalf of the people and management, the staff and management of Nimasa, that there is no force on earth that can stop this program, this program from continuing. That whether money exists beneath the soil, in the atmosphere of the earth, in the galaxies of the galaxies, money must come to fund this program. And my minister supported Nimasa, the management of Nimasa, wholeheartedly.
Mr. Akpobolo Kaimi estimated that with the NSDP program, Nigeria stands to become a hub for the supply of skilled maritime human capital. He also reinstated the determination of Nimasa to continue in the 100% sponsorship of the academic program of the cadets, and advised the cadets to be good ambassadors to Nigeria as they set sail to further their studies abroad.
We want you to project the image of this country, that we are a peace-loving people, that we are a people with a culture of enterprise, with values, traditions, that have respect for life. We do not expect you to rebel against the schools that you are attending, the authorities and management of the schools that you are attending. We do not expect you to be involved in any social vice that can ruin your career.
We recall that the NSDP program was initiated by Nimasa in 2008. It was packaged under the 40-60% arrangement, where the states of origin of the trainees bore 60% of the total cost of training, while Nimasa bore 40%. The need for full sponsorship of these seafarers by Nimasa became necessary as a result of the slow response of the states to key into the program.
Hip, hip, hip.
The highlight of the ceremony was the induction of the cadets by the Minister of Transport, the DG Nimasa, and the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Maritime Affairs, as they leave for further maritime training in the Philippines, United Kingdom, Romania, India, and Egypt, respectively. It was the turn of the cadets to show appreciation to the federal government and Nimasa, as two of the cadets came forward to speak on behalf of their colleagues.
We are saying a big thank you for such a golden opportunity, and also believing in us. We promise not to drag the nation's name to mud, and also to keep the flag flying and come back and be great heroes.
The vote of thanks by the Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, Barrister Callistus Nwabwezobi, collectively thanked everyone who made the ceremony a memorable one, and also for the support they have given to Nimasa.
Nimasa, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. For Obonga shipping registration, no. Nimasa, commercial shipping, no. Nimasa, maritime labor,
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the nation's maritime watchdog, established to promote maritime safety, security, commercial shipping, and regulate maritime pollution. Nimasa is well positioned and committed to take the development and standardization of Nigeria's maritime industry to greater heights. Are you interested in the local or international commercial shipping business, or in seafaring and do not know what to do or how to go about it? Nimasa will guide and see you through. Sea pirates, oil thieves, and all forms of dubious and illegal business on Nigeria's maritime domain have no hiding place, because Nimasa's eagle eyes will locate or catch up with you. For Nimasa, it is zero tolerance to sea pollution, as all abandoned ships and wrecks on Nigeria's waterways which pose danger to sea transportation will be cleared. Nimasa, promoting safe and secure maritime environment.
Again, we went trawling through our email box to find answers to what we have determined to be some of the most frequently asked questions on our show.
Our frequently asked question for this week is, what kinds of inspection do ship surveyors undertake when they board ships? Engineer Femowe Abel, a Deputy Director Marine Survey and Certification in Nimasa, obliged us with an answer.
We do scheduled inspections, of which the captain, the management and the crew are fully aware of the coming of a surveyor on board, arranged. But the idea of scheduled inspections in most cases is to carry out inspections leading to the issuance of certificates relevant to different conventions, and at times to review and renew expired certificates. That is scheduled visits we carry out on board ships. But there are still some visits we carry out unscheduled. A surveyor goes on board without any pre-information. He goes on board and checks some equipment to see that they are compliant with the conventions we enforce on board our ships. And many of these inspections we go on board for, there are specific documents for different conventions. Those documents are issued after detailed inspection of their equipment and machinery. If it's ascertained that they are compliant, we issue certificates. For example, MAPOL Convention, a lot of certificates.
As said in our opening, ensuring that our waterways are safe for human travel and commerce is a big issue for Nimasa. And to this end, they have just acquired 3 brand new medium-range vessels for search and rescue missions as well as cabotage enforcement. Our next report is on that subject.
Maritime administration and safety in Nigeria received a boost with the acquisition of 3 vessels by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The medium-range vessels, which are chiefly meant for search and rescue operations, are capable of carrying out other functions such as maritime security patrol. The head of Search and Rescue Department of Nimasa, retired Commander Ilyas Ubako, gave a detailed explanation about the functions of the vessels. The Maritime Guard vessels are not to operate in isolation, as they are to be attached to mother ships.
They are supposed to be attached to the mother ship. That will be anchored off 40 nautical miles from Lagos, Fairway Boy, and similarly, one other one will be anchored off probably 30 nautical miles from Bonny, Fairway Boy, and then of course in Calabar area it will be anchored off also some few nautical miles. And what these medium-range vessels do is that they attach to these mother ships that are stationed in these 3 locations, namely Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Calabar area. And what they do is that for any incident, they will be they are having monitoring, AIS systems on board, and also other, navigational aids that will assist. So if for any reason there is an attack, they will be detached from the mother ship, and then they will go on hot pursuit. And this is done usually in Coast Guard duties, namely in the U.S. Coast Guard. In fact, Malaysia has also adopted that system. So the mother ship are very, very critical for this operation.
Commander Baku further explained the significance of the mother ships.
The mother ship are very, very critical for this operation. In other words, we need mother ship for logistics and to be able to station these ships offshore so that if for any attack or any security challenges that we have in these 3 locations that I have mentioned, Lagos, Port Harcourt area, Estravos area, and indeed Calabar area, they will detach and carry out the operations. And if there is no any immediate alert, they will normally carry out maritime patrol, what we call maritime patrol. They will show presence and therefore deter these criminals who are actually, always attacking our, fishing vessels and other, vices like stealing of crude oil and all that. So it is a very, very, crucial and important aspect of enhancing our operation in the Maritime Safety Administration.
The head of Search and Rescue Operations hinted that one of the functions Nimasa intends to use the vessels for is cabotage enforcement. The acquiring of the vessels is no doubt a step in the right direction of reducing the criminal activities of pirates and sea robbers operating within Nigeria's territorial waters.
Nimasa, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. For Ogbonge shipping registration, no. Nimasa, commercial shipping, no. Nimasa, maritime labor,
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the nation's maritime watchdog, established to promote maritime safety, security, commercial shipping, and regulate maritime pollution. Nimasa is well positioned and committed to take the development and standardization of Nigeria's maritime industry to greater heights. Are you interested in the local or international commercial shipping business or in seafaring and do not know what to do or how to go about it? Nimasa will guide and see you through. Sea pirates, oil thieves, and all forms of dubious and illegal business on Nigeria's maritime domain have no hiding place because Nimasa's eagle eyes will locate or catch up with you. For Nimasa, it is zero tolerance to sea pollution as all abandoned ships and wrecks on Nigeria's waterways which pose danger to sea transportation will be cleared. Nimasa, promoting safe and secure maritime environment.
We continue on our update this week on the guideline on the implementation and governance of the International Ship and Port Facility Security ISPS Code. Here is the concluding part for the requirements of a Port Facility Security Officer under the ISPS Code. The validity of any Port Facility Security Officer qualification is 5 years, counted from the date of issue of the original certificate. The validity could be extended when accompanied with evidence showing that the holder has been in service as a Port Facility Security Officer or a Deputy Port Security Officer of a designated port facility for at least 12 months in the preceding 5-year period. To fully implement the ISPS Code and the National Baseline Standard, it is also a statutory requirement for port facilities, especially floating production, storage, and offloading facilities, FPSOs, to designate and engage watchkeepers on board their facility. Watchkeepers are skilled security personnel well grounded in security matters who can work together with the port security to develop and progressively review the overall security for designated offshore platform as it pertains to ISPS Code implementation. The responsibilities of the watchkeepers include the following. 1. Liaison and coordination with the PFSO to facilitate a unified and complete security efforts. 2. Oversight of terminal security and access/ingress operation in accordance with the FPSO's Port Facility Security Plan. 3. Operation, maintenance, calibration, and testing of all security equipment used. 4. Implementing and suggesting improvements to any emergency contingency plan, including evacuation plans. 5. Ensuring good communication is established and maintained at all times between and among facility customers, security staff, and the PFSO. 6. Application of security measures appropriate to current threats. 7. Use of requisite skills to recognize characteristics and behavioral patterns of persons likely to threaten security. 8. Use of requisite knowledge and skill to circumvent threats to security measures. 9. Detect weapons, dangerous substances, and devices. 10. Apply crowd control measurement and control techniques when the need arises. 11. Operation of security-related communications. 12. Operation of security equipment and systems. 13. Calibrate and maintain security equipment and system. 14. Assist the inspection, control, and monitoring of the FPSO. 15. Physical search of persons, baggage, cargo, and ship stores. Join us next week as we continue to update you on the ISPS Code and the responsibilities of Nimasa as the designated authority in subsequent episodes of the program. For more information, visit www.nimasa.gov.ng.
The private sector must come in. Gone are the days the government will say we want to do this and the government alone should be. Government hasn't any monopoly of knowledge or anything. The Nigerians outside government are also very reasonable, serious-minded persons. So those in government cannot assume monopoly of knowledge or encyclopedia of knowledge. So the only way they can balance any sort of gap is to incorporate the private people, come under this policy framework, under these general rules, come and play in the industry and contribute to contribute your quota in the development of the maritime sector in Nigeria.
To all ship owners, shipping agents, and mariners, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency has observed a new trend in the clandestine operations of ship hijackers and sea-based robbers syndicate operating in the West African coast. Members of the vessels hijack syndicate pose as ship charterers seeking to hire vessels for petroleum liquid ship-to-ship operations. Unsuspecting ship owners and agents are by this notice informed that such charterers deploy the vessels for forceful and criminal transfer of stolen petroleum products from hijacked tanker vessels. Ship operators are advised to request valid documentations and clearance issued by relevant regulatory authorities from prospective charterers or their agents. Such documentations may be authenticated at the agency prior to release of tanker ships or barges to supposed charterers. Ship owners or agents shall be liable for illicit activities of the syndicate who abandon such chartered vessels at sea to evade arrest. For further information, contact the Acting Director, Shipping Development, 6th floor, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, 4 Burma Road, Apapa, Lagos, or email publicrelations@nimasa.gov.ng.
Now that is our show for this week. As always, we hope we kept you educated and informed. Now please don't forget, Nimasa This Week is an interactive show. We want to hear your comments, respond to your questions, and even your criticisms. All you need to do is send an email to the address currently showing on your screen. Now I'm going to be here same time, same station next week. Until then, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.